What if the one thing you're most desperate to avoid is the memory and the pain of the past and the conversations that keep you locked in the way you are? And this is actually what's keeping you from enjoying your life and might be the key to freedom in your health in general. You know, most people spend their lives tiptoeing around their past, convinced that it's safer to not go there, if you will. But what if opening up that door, that Pandora's box, just once could give you everything you ever wanted to? Now stay with me, because I want to talk about how we can show you how facing that demon, whatever that is haunting you, whatever it is that it's going to take you just to be brave, it might be the most important thing that you have ever done in your life to free yourself. What's going on, guys? Dr. Schilling, Secoya Health, and I want to touch base with you real quick today about the concept of basically navigating the haunted house in your life, right? Navigating the creepy parts of your brain, if you will, the memories of the past. So imagine yourself living in this big mysterious house, right? And most of the rooms are warm and they're inviting and maybe filled with laughter, and they might even have good memories in there. But down the hall, you got that one room. It's kind of like the haunted room, right? The doors that you always avoid. It just creeps you out, if you will. So that's where you've shoved all the things, like you've stuffed it all in there. You said, man, I don't want to look at this stuff. You'd rather just not face that. The old hurts, the painful memories, the feelings like that's all the things you want to avoid, right? So what if, the more you try to avoid that room, the more it grows and it gets bigger and bigger and it haunts you more and more the rest of your life. So there's shadows around that room. They leak out from under the doors, creepy words, sounds and stuff like that, strange noises, if you will, that come from down the hall. And you're just like, I don't want to go there. Sometimes it feels like the whole house is darker and colder as a result of that one room, that one thing in your life. Okay, but what if you grabbed yourself by the horns, if you will, grabbed a flashlight, ventured down the hall, and took a deep breath and opened that door? What could happen? Okay. Yes, it might be messy. Yes, it might be scary. Yes, there might be things you want to avoid. You might even find some skeletons in that closet. But if you shine the light in there, inside that room, then it starts to seem less scary, right? You start to see things more clearly. And that's the whole goal of this. So what if you ask yourself the questions, the tough questions? You sorted through what is real and what's not. What are the shadows and what are not, right? And you finally clean out those cobwebs and just start making all the things visible in that room. Okay, so your thoughts and your memories are like clues. Okay, so when they pass your mind, don't ignore them. Pay attention to them, because they're trying to teach you something. They're shedding light on the biggest challenges you have, which are really your greatest opportunities, if you will. So what if those painful memories that are on the surface and you're tempting to slam the door on them, you're tempted to say, God, I don't want to go there again, I don't want to think about that. What if you just allowed yourself to explore that? What if you said, I'm going to sit with it? And you ask yourself questions like, how much of this is still relevant, right? How much of this is still happening? How much of this is them versus how much of this is me? Who's owning what? Who am I blaming? Who am I allowing to control me? Who am I trying to control, like out of my safety and stuff like that? So what really happened and how is it affecting you now? Like looking back, you start to understand, the contours of the pain and the contours of the challenges you faced, and understanding like, I'm going to become the detached observer. I'm going to look at my life through the lens of someone else, right? Imagine I'm looking at my childhood and I'm looking at my current relationships from the third person perspective. Like I'm a friend looking at another friend's life and they're going through it, I'm not. And I look at it from their perspective and I say, what would I say about it if I saw this happening to somebody else? How painful would it be for someone else if I was watching it happen in their lives? And you can observe your life and what happens in your life. But instead of avoiding it, instead of avoiding the shadows that'll keep you out of every aspect of your life, people, they tend to fight for years for something they don't even know what it is, right? Sometimes for decades they avoid getting to the bottom of things. They avoid really addressing the things that are haunting them, right? Remember, we're talking about the haunted house. So what if you face it? What if you don't keep fighting it? You lean into it. You can finally lighten your load, feel more free, things like that. That's true freedom, right? There are no risk-free paths in life, right? There's going to be pain potentially down every path. You got to pick your hard though, right? So avoiding them avoiding the trap, if you will, there's traps around every corner. Okay, there's traps about being miserable by staying in a situation. There's traps about being miserable about addressing a situation. I mean, what's worse than pretending nothing's wrong and not addressing it? Okay, the real freedom comes down to asking questions like, if I wanted to build the best version of the relationship that I'm in, okay, what would I do? How would I be, right? What is the greatest version of myself that shows up in this life or in this relationship, no matter who's in my life, right? So when you face what's in the haunted room, you claim back your whole life. You claim back your whole house and your whole life. And who doesn't want their whole house back, right? Who wants to be avoiding parts of their lives? That's just no fun. So you can consciously create a healthier relationship with the people in your life every day. And so my question is, are you ready to grab your flashlight and open that door and tear off the cobwebs and really see what's in there? Because your health, your happiness, and your freedom, they really depend on it. Okay? And that may be hard to believe, and you don't want to go there. I get it. Nobody wants to go there. It's difficult, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, but it holds the key to everything you could ever want. And if you're struggling with health issues, like most people are, it's because the quality of our health is determined by the quality of our relationships. Okay, so I want to encourage you that if this message resonated with you, please send it to someone that might benefit from a little courage, a little boost, a little reminder that facing their problems doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be the greatest liberation they've ever done. So I just want to encourage you to keep in mind that we can all get ahead with a little help from our friends. So let's help each other reclaim our lives, reclaim one room at a time, one relationship at a time, and be the best versions of ourselves. Okay? Hope this helps. Hope this resonates with you. Share with somebody you love, and make it a great day. All right? Cheers.